Hey, welcome back to Sober Now. I'm Jim LaPierre. Today I want to talk a lot about the relationship between overcoming addiction and dealing with the trauma that resurfaces. There's an adage my friends in AA use, which is the good thing about being sober is you feel more, and the bad thing about being sober is that you feel more. In terms of PTSD and for folks like me who have survived trauma, what that means is when we stop numbing ourselves with drugs and alcohol, we very naturally start remembering, start having those thoughts again, start experiencing those emotions that very often we find overwhelming or simply unacceptable, unbearable. So for a lot of us, people like me that I refer to as slow learners with high pain tolerances, we go through periods of abstinence. We get on the wagon, so to speak. We might even go into counseling or coaching or a 12-step program because we know the drugs and alcohol are destroying our lives. But the nightmares start, and the intrusive thoughts return, and the flashbacks continue, and we find ourselves drinking again to numb, to block it out, so that we can ignore it, so that we can not deal with it. In the past couple of weeks, I've had some former clients reach back out to me, folks who really have learned over and over and over again that they simply can't drink. In addition to the term cunning, baffling, and powerful, I always want to add the word seductive. The disease is always there in the background telling me that it's okay to drink, that it's different now, that I've been abstinent for a long time, and that this time I can just reward myself or treat myself with something, and it'll just be a one-time thing. It'll be something I do in moderation. And of course that's not true. I don't do anything in moderation. That has everything to do with why I don't drink. As painful as it is to experience something as truly terrible as flashbacks and nightmares, the only way out of it is through it. And so this is the make or break willingness that happens for a lot of us when we're trapped in cycles of addiction and abstinence. We go back and forth. What it's really about is having the willingness even to acknowledge what happened, even to talk about what we survived. Saying it out loud or writing it down makes it more real. And you have to be a little bit fucked up just to understand that part. But the truth is, these things overwhelm us. But we reach a point where we know the substance is destroying our lives. We know that it's hurting our loved ones. We know that we've lost things, whether they're jobs or homes or relationships. And there comes a point where we simply come to terms with the fact that we have to do this and that the only way out of it is through it. Feeling safe and relatively secure are the most important of human needs, are the most basic things that we have, but I don't hear them talked about very often. And so when I'm talking to somebody in early sobriety, what I want to help them do is feel grounded in the here and now. I want to help them have a basic sense of safety. And that's a really tall order, particularly when we don't feel safe on our own skin. We don't feel safe because of what's happening inside of our head. So grounding skills are a real good start for that. I encourage folks to consider that they need to feel like they have control of their bodies before they're going to take back control of the rest of their lives. So having greater physical control is as simple as slowing down your breathing and breathing deeply. It's identifying muscle tension and doing your best to release it. It's being still. The anxiety that we feel makes us want to pace. The depression that we feel makes us want to isolate and wrap ourselves right up in knots. But if we can just be still and breathe and have a sense that no one's abusing us today, that we're safe today, and that as long as we don't drink or drug today, things can get better. Lately I notice I've been talking to folks about one day at a time. When I talk to people who go through cycles of abstinence and addiction, they'll always say to me, I can't imagine doing this for the rest of my life. And I'll say, well, good news. You don't have to do it for the rest of your life. You just have to do it for today. And so for some of the folks that I work with, they'll check in with me every day. And it's just a 24-hour commitment Tomorrow they're free to drink or drug, but for today, they've made this commitment and I'm going to hold them accountable for it. And if they do that every day, well, they're going to rack up some serious sober time, which is awesome. Some folks really can't even bear keeping track of how long it's been because it feels like they have that much more to lose. It feels like they've made this much progress and then they've lost it, which isn't true. Any period of sobriety has huge value. And the idea of cumulative recovery is that the skills and the knowledge that I've obtained in the past, I don't lose those if I go back to drinking or drugging. I restart only in terms of detoxing again, going through withdrawals again. And you come to a place where you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, which is beautiful. That's when we make the real changes in our life. So, I'm hoping that if you're one of those people that gets stuck in cycles like I do, that you're willing to change your behavior, that you're willing to have some accountability in your life, and that you're willing to share with at least one other person what are the feelings, thoughts, and memories that you experience the longer you stay sober, and have some support in going through that, whether that means working with a counselor or a coach or somebody who just gets it, who's been there, that you know has personal experience with it. Don't go through this alone. None of us overcome any real hardships alone. We need all the support we can get. I tell the folks that I serve, I need help on my good days, much less when I'm struggling. So, write to me, let me know about your experiences and questions that you might have, jim@sobernow.com. Let's keep this conversation going. Check out my site, sobernow.com. Always looking for your feedback, always looking for further examples of what would be helpful to you. Please take excellent care of yourself and have a great day.